So this is the way you create your actuals. So you come into your forecast, so where it says forecast, and you're going to right click on the forecast and go up to duplicate. So then you'll click duplicate, and this will create a copy of the forecast. Give it a second and it'll load the rest. You will right click on that and you will rename it, and you'll name it actuals. So once you should have a budget, a forecast, and an actual. Don't worry about these other tabs. Just know that you should have a budget, a forecast, and an actuals. So now you should take January through May, and you should right click, and we're in actuals. You should right click, copy this, paste special, values only. So if you know if you've done this right, if you can click in here and you can see numbers like these um, instead of calculations, you'll see numbers. So if you click on June, see there's still a calculation. But if you click over here, it is a um, just a straight up amount. Okay. So then what you would do to put in your June numbers, you would come in here and you would change your occupancy to whatever I've shown you in your memo. So if you got 75%, you'd click that. And then if your ADR was 230, you'd put in 230. And I'll give you those numbers. So you should have 75 and whatever, say 330. You'll hit that and that should change the numbers below. Now, that's kind of based off of your totals right there. Now, if I give you 75% as the core, and then you get another, say, 1% because your advertising was good, and another 0.5% because you did something special, you would put in your 75 plus 1% for advertising plus 0.05. So you could, and it maybe would end up to be 77% once you've done all of those items, or 70, I think I was 76.5. Okay, so I've got those in there. Then I would scroll down and you're going to have a rooms department. And you're probably going to have an efficiency number that I've given you. And so you change that in your efficiency right here. So if I give you an efficiency of 0.75, you'd change that to 0.75 and you'll see your June numbers change. If I give you, or you've made any other changes like, hey, I put $2,000 more into training, I would add in that $2,000, say, um, in training right here. And I would take this and I would hit plus $2,000. Okay. Do not put in do not put in a comma, like do not do this. Okay. And do not do this, where you put in $2,000 like that. Neither of those will work. So I added in my $2,000 in training. If I bought research, I'd put in my $2,000 or my $5,000 or my $2,500 for training, right? If I increased the number of people coming to my um, eating at my hotel from 60 to 75% because I'm getting some more people, I would change that. If I increased how much my menu is, so I added a new menu item and at say $45, I would change that to 45. So now my average food menu is 45. And see how it's changing in June? Okay. If I increase my beverage, I would do the same. I would add in more dollars here in the beverage and the percentage of people getting my beverages. All right. So then down in my marketing, and there's my other department, my sales and marketing. If I'm increasing some of my marketing in June, I would just add in plus and how much dollars I put in. So if I did pay-per-click of 2,500, I'd put in 2,500. Okay. If I did research, I would put in another 5,000, right? And I would add in each of those. If I did some research here, or if I did some general maintenance, building maintenance, maybe I added some new um, say new remote controls or something, or new door locks, I would put in the amount of the cost of the door locks to me, say it's $5,000. I would add in the $5,000 here, and that will total. Now, for each of those ones that you put in, you should make sure that you note them or can explain them. So I need to be able to look at this and go, yes, you said you bought um, research, and I can see the research amount you put in. And you said you increased food, and then you would maybe put in a little note here, insert a note and say increased because of better marketing for food, whatever it is, right? But that will help me understand kind of where you put that. Once you've got all your numbers in there, then you'll be in great shape and you should get your total. And when you write your total for the month, you should be able to say, I promised you here in the forecast, I promised you for June a $2.5 million, and I actually came out at $22.6 million. So I made an extra $100,000 to the bottom line, and I forecasted an occupancy of 72, and I ended up at 77, and this is why. And I now have a margin of 48 where I promised 48.1 and I ended up with 48.3. So when I'm writing my memo, I would be able to explain how I made an extra $100,000 for you as the owner. I would be able to explain why I've got a slightly better net profit margin, and that would be my memo. Okay.